Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a My 2 cent video for this week, for the week of November 13th to the 19th. And there are 4 stories to cover that we're going to be taking a look at, which includes Embracer Group and some interesting announcements ranging from their basically about Legacy of Kain to what's going to happen to Voltron, the development studio behind the Saints Row reboot, though. We also want to take a look at some comments made about the new upcoming Super Mario Brothers movie, including ranging from the runtime to supposedly when we might see the next trailer, to the person who played Luigi in the 1990s live-action Super Mario Brothers movie, John Leguizamo, made an interesting response to the casting and all. We also want to take a look at October 2022's NPD charts that came out. And also, we also want to be talking about Activision and Microsoft, in which a person and part of the European Commission made an interesting comment that sort of raises some questions about how legitimate the European Commission is really looking into this whole Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, though. And if you're interested in where I got a source of these information, though, links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, though, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail, though. The first one is the fact that a new trailer has emerged for Fire Emblem Engage, the next entry into the Fire Emblem series for the Nintendo Switch, which will be out next year. Judging from what they showed, most of it seemed to be just more of the story and elements and all that stuff, and some of the characters that will make an appearance, including Marth from the classic Fire Emblem games, though. I am kind of curious about the gameplay. Will it be an enhanced version of what Fire Emblem Three Houses will be? Will it incorporate elements from basically some of the past Fire Emblem games, like Fire Emblem's Awakening or Fire Emblem Fate, where will there be like the whole idea of you can marry characters and all that stuff? So I'm a little curious to see if there's going to be any elements from past games or what new elements they will bring to the table for this new Fire Emblem game and all. We also learned that the creator of the Super Mario and Zelda series, Shigeru Miyamoto, has turned 70 this month, so happy birthday to Shigeru Miyamoto for creating one of the most iconic video game characters of all time, Mario, and of course creating what I view the greatest video game ever made, Super Mario Brothers 3, though, so happy birthday to Shigeru Miyamoto and all. We also learned that supposedly Witcher 3 on the Nintendo Switch will be getting DLCs from the Netflix Witcher series that will be coming to the system, along with the other versions as well. The only difference is that systems like the Xbox Series S and X and PS5 will be also getting next-gen updates. Obviously, the Switch version won't do that, though, although there might be some tweaks here and there, but still nice to see that the game is still getting some love, even on the Nintendo Switch, though, which still remains a very impressive port that they were able to bring that game over and all, though. We also learned that supposedly games like Super Mario Maker 2, Splatoon 2, and Animal Crossing, and even ARMS are receiving software update, though, which is kind of interesting, though, especially ARMS. That one kind of fell off the radar, though, although I wouldn't mind ARMS 2 if that ever happens or not. We don't know if that will, but I wouldn't be against that idea or anything like that. I also learned that Bandai Namco has sort of filled out a trademark that seems to be pointing towards another entry in the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm or the Naruto video games and all that stuff. I mean, obviously, I'm not really a big Naruto fan, so it doesn't really interest me as much compared to, say, like Sword Art Online, but I'm sure there is an audience out there, so I'm sure people are looking forward to picking that game up and all. We also learned that the upcoming Evil West game, we do have an idea about the frame rate and resolution, and while there will be options to have it at 60 frames per second, on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Though unfortunately, it seems to be, according to what we're hearing, it will be running at 1080p 30 frames per second on Xbox Series S and probably the other last gen consoles. There's also been reports that the developers have made the claim that they tried what they could to get it to run at 60 frames per second, but they couldn't, which is kind of interesting because we've seen other developers have found a way to make game run at 60 frames per second. Their games on the Xbox Series S running at 60 frames per second, from Dying Light 2 to games like Cyberpunk 2077. So I kind of question that statement from the developers to a certain degree, though. Again, I'm not a game developer, so I don't 100% know or anything like that, but I do question that statement to a certain degree, though. We also learned that Tactics ORG, I apologize if I'm not saying correctly, though, basically debuted very strongly on the Famitsu sale charts, even outselling God of War Ragnarok. Now, it'll be interesting to see what the Famitsu sale charts will be for next week, though. It could be completely different or anything like that, but still, I mean, not bad for a game like that to basically do very well, at least on the Famitsu sale charts. We also learned that LEGO has revealed a new pack for the LEGO Super Mario. This includes some expansion sets, from like a winter setting to sort of like a new lava setting or anything like that. It seems that LEGO Super Mario thing seems to be doing very well, even though I think Mario's design looks a little weird to some extent, but nevertheless, it still continues to sell very well. And so as long as the people are buying them, they're going to continue with those LEGO Super Mario things. We also learned that Yuji Naka has been arrested for basically insider trading at Square Enix and all. This is sort of very interesting with the whole saga surrounding him, especially with the Balan Wonderworld game and all, which supposedly he is suing basically Square Enix because he was taken off the project and all. So there's a whole lot of situation there. It's like some part of me kind of feels sorry for this guy to be caught in this and all that. But I mean, if there's evidence to show he committed insider trading and broke the law, then I'm sorry, he's got to face consequences for his actions and all. We also learned that Bethesda has responded to supposedly one of the folks who worked on the music for Doom Eternal. It also had to do with basically the fact that when they released the soundtrack, it didn't do very well, and there are claims that the composer was mistreated. Bethesda tried to respond to this and all, and it doesn't seem to be like, some people are questioning some of Bethesda's response to this, though. Hogan's Law has a video on it. It goes a little bit more in the legal details, though. Links will be in the description of this video and all. And last but not least, it seems as though the game Risen, which was rumored at one time to be coming to Nintendo Switch. On top of that, supposedly there were rumors that it was going to show up during a Nintendo Direct. Obviously, that did not happen, but it's now been confirmed for modern consoles. It will be coming to basically the PS4, I believe the Xbox One, I believe it will be coming to the Xbox Series S and X and the PS5, and also it will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. It will be very interesting to see what they do to this game and maybe see if they make any improvements or not, because the game originally came out, when it came out on the Xbox 360, it didn't exactly, supposedly it didn't ran well or anything like that. So hopefully they'll make some adjustments and changes, to be exact, though. Since it's coming to the Nintendo Switch, I'm kind of curious to see how the Switch version will play out and all. Okay, with the quick My 2 cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story. And this one has to do with the Activision, Microsoft buying Activision and all, and supposedly a comment that was made by one of the employees who worked at the EU Commission that kind of came off the wrong way, and it gave sort of an impression of bias or not. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware at this point, though, that regulators are starting to look at basically, Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard. And we've seen some regulators have given the okay, like Saudi Arabia and Brazil, while regulators in like England and in basically the European Union and even in the United States are basically looking at this deal very carefully. Now, I'm not against, regulators looking at this deal and all. I think there are certain things they need to take a look at, ranging from whether or not this will raise any monopoly concerns to basically whether or not how much of an impact will this have on employees, though? Will this have a positive or negative impact to our consumer? How much of an impact will this have on consumers? Will this be a good thing or a bad thing or any kind of anti-consumer practice? So I'm not against, regulators really taking a look at this and make sure everything checks out and all that stuff. But I think sometimes certain comments can give the impression right away that there may be rub people the wrong way or give some hint of bias. And in the case with the European Union, though, the way this was worded, though, did not sit very well with a lot of people, and basically was pointing the figure that the European Union was in bed with like Sony and everything like that. Basically, this has to do with a tweet that was set up by one of the folks who worked in the European Union, a person by the name of Ricardo, Cardoso. He posted a tweet on November 8th, and this is what his tweet had to say. Quote, "The Commission is working to ensure that you will still be able to play Call of Duty on any other consoles, including my PlayStation. Also on our to-do list, update stock pictures. These gamers have weird controllers where Xbox and PlayStations have wireless ones since 2006. Now, supposedly he was trying to add a little bit of humor or anything like that, but unfortunately it came off the wrong way, as allegations were flying that basically the EU was siding with Sony. There's a hint of bias or anything like that. It got to the point that even the EU Commission had to respond to all of this, though. So from an article from basically Video Game Chronicles, this is what they had to say. Quote, Ricardo, the deputy head of Unit Institutional and Outreach at the government body, tweeted this early that the Commission is working to ensure that you'll still be able to play Call of Duty on other consoles, including my PlayStation. That statement, while fairly in line with the remits of the body, was met with criticism from some players over perceiving Sony bias, especially following repeated assurance from Xbox claiming Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation for the foreseeable future. Now, the European Commission had to clarify a statement to Tweettown that Ricardo is not involved in the process whatsoever. They point out that Ricardo works in the Directors General for the Internal Market and is not in the Directors General for Competition, the statement read. Carlos is not involved in the assessment of this transaction. Furthermore, as indicated clearly in his Twitter profile, he tweeted in a personal capability. On Saturday, this person, Ricardo, tweeted the following. To clarify, I am not involved in the assessment of the merger and don't even work in the department dealing with mergers. As it's clear from my portfolio, my comments are personal and not a commission position. Who decides will be taken on the basis of facts and the law, though. In applied to the original tweet, the use of the word my was referring to PlayStation, seems to have fans the most. However, he was seemingly referring to the console he owned rather than allegiance to a platform. And over at Pure Xbox, head of the Xbox division, Phil Spencer, has adamantly called for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for longer terms. According to this one, it says here, Xbox has come out to defend its position regarding the future of Call of Duty, this time via a new Phil Spencer interview with The Verge. Phil seems adamantly that Xbox will continue to support Call of Duty on PlayStation well into the future, even touching on a longer-term commitment between the two companies, though. They have a clip of it from Twitter, though. The Verge bring up whether Microsoft potentially use game streaming to bring Call of Duty to PlayStation, but Phil quickly backed those suggestions away. The Xbox boss said that while Microsoft will be open to something like Xbox Cloud Gaming on PlayStation, it remains committed to bringing native Call of Duty to Sony's platform. This is what it said. Quote, natively on the platform, not having to subscribe to Game Pass, Sony does not have to take Game Pass on their platform to make it happen. There's nothing hidden. We want to continue to ship Call of Duty on PlayStation. The idea that we would write a contract that says the word forever in it, I think, is a little bit silly. But to make a longer-term commitment that Sony will be comfortable with, regulators will be comfortable with, I have no issues that at all. Those are some pretty definitive words there from Phil, which explains during the discussion that he's trying to be as clear as possible as can be on the situation. As you can hear in the video, he's full of belief Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation for as long as players want to play it on that platform, which sounds pretty long-term to us, though. Now, as far as with Call of Duty goes, I would say, pending that this deal goes through, and I still believe I'm in the camp of most likely it will, though, it wouldn't surprise me if one of the concessions we see is that Call of Duty has to remain multi-platform. And judging by Phil Spencer's comments, assuming we're reading this correctly, it sounds like that may be one of the concessions they may have to make. That a big franchise like Call of Duty, even though may not be a Call of Duty fan, nevertheless, given the amount of money it makes, including recently with Modern Warfare 2 remake and how much money that made, though, basically that could be the most likely scenario we could see. Some kind of concession where a game like Call of Duty must remain multi-platform and all. As far as the EU's commission and the response to this, though, even if what this person said was meant not as his own personal view and not for the EU and all that stuff, it was a pretty dumb move to make, though. Again, don't get me wrong, I got nothing wrong with regulators looking at this deal or anything like that, but when you have situations like this, I can see why some people can view this as being either biased or the fact that it gives the impression that you don't want this deal to happen because either you have some sort of insider trading or that this company donates or someone donates to your campaign or anything like that. So there have been certain controversies before, and I can see why some people are upset. One I remember hearing, though don't know 100% how accurate this is, and this might be political to some folks, was when the AT&T Time Warner deal came on, then President Trump wanted the FTC to block it at all, supposedly because of CNN and their claims, CNN hurt Trump's feelings, but a judge ruled against that and saying that the FTC is in no obligation to do that whatsoever. So I can see why some people might be upset because of this statement, and rightfully so, though. I mean, again, regulators have a right to look at this deal, but it should be based on whether everything checks out fine, not on your personal choice of system or because someone donates to your campaign or anything like that. So hopefully we'll see how this all plays out. Hopefully whatever decision the EU Commission makes, it's based off of facts and actually looking at this, not because someone has pledged loyalty to a system or anything like that. I still think this deal will probably go through, but like I said, I do think there's going to be some concessions. So overall, even if their intent was not to promote that they were being biased towards one system or not, it gave that impression right away, and I can see why people were not happy about it. As far as Call of Duty goes, I'm in the camp in believing more than likely if there's going to be if they're going to make this deal happen, there may be some concessions, and that might be Call of Duty is going to have to be multi-platform, not remain on just Xbox itself, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one has to do with October 2022's NPD charts and the numbers that have came out. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the NPD charts, particularly October 2022. So the numbers are out, and there are certainly some interesting surprises, though, ranging from some Nintendo games doing actually pretty well on the charts, though, including one basically entering back in the charts. Some of it might be because of basically the Switch version, and I'm referring to Nier Automata and all, to even how well the hardware has done, with both PS5 and Xbox Series X doing very well, but the Switch in third place, which I will make kind of starts raising the question is, should we start be talking about a Switch 2 or Switch Pro at this point though? So anyway, in terms of the charts though, we'll break it down. And for this one, we're going to start with the top 20 of basically October 2022. So at number 1, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the remake though. Number 2, we have Gotham Knights. Number 3, we had FIFA 23. Number 4, we have Madden NFL 23. Number 5, we have NHL 23. At number 6, we have Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Been playing that game, really enjoyed that though. At number 7, we have Persona 5 though, which is interesting because last month it was ranked at 291, and I'm figuring the reason why this entered back in the chart has to do with several versions that just came out though, the PS5, Xbox Series S and X, especially, or Xbox One, especially on Game Pass, and of course the Nintendo Switch version though. Number 8, we have NBA 2K23. Number 9, we have Bayonetta 3, nice. Number 10, we have Elden Rings. Number 11, we have Mario Kart 8. Number 12, we have Splatoon 3. Number 13 is Minecraft. Number 14, Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Nice. I mean, wish it was higher, but being at number 14 isn't necessarily bad, though. At number 15, we have Grounded. At number 16, we have Dragon Ball: The Breaker. Number 17, we have PGA Tour 2K23. Number 18, we have Nintendo Switch Sports. Number 19, we Nier Nier Automata, which last month was ranked at 217. Again, another reason why I think why it's entering the list again in the top 20 is because the Switch version just came out, though. So obviously that's probably one of many reasons why the game's re-entered the list, though. And at number 20, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. They point out some of the big winners were games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Bayonetta 3 though, which is interesting considering that Bayonetta 3 is only available on the Switch and it came out a little bit later in October and all. And Gotham Knights, despite getting mixed reviews or mixed response for some folks though, it didn't seem to do enough to basically knock it off the list or anything like that. It entered in at number 2. Some may or may not be happy with that though. In terms of the 20 best-selling games of October, or 20 best-selling games of 2022 so far, we have Elden Rings at number 1, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 2, Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga at number 3, Madden NFL 23 at number 4, Pokemon Legend Arceus at number 5, Horizon 2 Forbidden West at number 6, MLB The Show at number 7, FIFA 23 at number 8, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 9, Gran Turismo 7 at number 10, Mario Kart 8 at number 11, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 12, Minecraft at number 13, Gotham Knights at number 14, Nintendo Switch Sport at number 15, Saints Row 2022 or Saints Row Reboot at number 16, Madden NFL 22 at number 17, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 18, FIFA 22 at number 19, and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales at number 20. Over at the top best-selling games of the last 12 months, we got Elden Ring at number 1, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 3, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga at number 4, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl at number 5, Madden NFL 23 at number 6, Battlefield 2042 at number 7, Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 8, Horizon 2 Forbidden West at number 9, and Madden NFL 22 at number 10. In terms of specific platforms, this one is for the Nintendo platforms. We got Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope at number 1, Bayonetta 3 at number 2, Persona 5 at number 3, Mario Kart 8 at number 4, Splatoon 3 at number 5, Super Smash Nintendo Switch Sports at number 6, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 7, Nier Automata at number 8, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearls at number 9, and Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 10. Over onto the PlayStation platforms, though, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 1, Gotham Knights at number 2, FIFA 23 at number 3, Madden NFL 23 at number 4, NHL 23 at number 5, NBA 2K 23 at number 6, Star Ocean The Divine Force at number 7, PGA Tour 2K 23 at number 8, The Last of Us Part 1 at number 9, and excuse me, Elden Ring at number 10. And finally, over to the Xbox platforms, we have basically Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 1, Gotham Knights at number 2, Madden NFL 23 at number 3, FIFA 23 at number 4, NHL 23 at number 5, NBA 2K 23 at number 6, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at number 7, Elden Ring at number 8, Forza Horizon 5 at number 9, and Saints Row 2022, or the reboot, at number 10. In terms of the hardware, though, at least this one from VG Tech, it points out that, quote, dollar sales on hardware has fallen 10% in October 2022 compared to a year ago to 424 million. Despite this, there was a double-digit percentage sales growth from both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series consoles, which was offset by the decline on other platforms. Speaking of the PlayStation 5, the NPD group states that the console was the best-selling hardware in October in both units and dollar sales, while Xbox Series ranked in second across both measures, though. So basically, the takeaway from what we got from this NPD charts is the fact that despite the negative reviews out there, or should I say mixed reviews on it, it wasn't enough to stop Gotham Knights from entering at number 2, and it obviously did very well, despite some debates over, this game being, only at 30 frames per second, even on next-gen systems and all. The other takeaway is several games re-entered. 2 of the games re-entered the top 20, though, which was basically Nier Automata and Persona 5, which is certainly nice. Some of this, I think, is because it's also released on multiple platforms. Persona 5 on PS5, Xbox Series, Xbox platforms, including Game Pass and the Nintendo Switch. And Nier Automata basically also re-entered in, mostly because it also got released on the Nintendo Switch. On top of that, we also saw games like Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope and Bayonetta 3 enter the charts, which is certainly very nice. I'm glad those games are doing very well. I am kind of curious to see how they will do when we see November's NPD charts. Will they be on the list, still be on the list, or was this just a one-time thing, though? I think we saw a little bit of that with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, though. But the interesting thing is the hardware, and it seems as though the Nintendo Switch has sort of dropped into third place compared to where it is with PS5 at number 1, the Xbox Series consoles at number 2, and Switch is in third. And it does kind of start raising the question of, are we at a moment right now where we have to start talking about possibly a more powerful Switch at this moment, though? Nintendo's next system, to be exact, which I do believe will still be a Switch, though, but I suspect most likely will be a more powerful one. And the question is, are we at that moment yet? And I'm starting to think probably at this time, though. I mean, I understand early in the Switch life cycle, there was always these Switch Pro or anything like that. I will admit that was kind of ridiculous. But now, given where we are, I just wonder how long can Nintendo stretch the current Switch lineup, now before they have to start thinking about a newer Switch or a newer hardware or anything like that. So overall, very interesting for October 2022's NPD, though. I'm glad Bayonetta 3, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, along with Nier Automata and Persona 5, were able to make it onto this list. That certainly is a good thing, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3, and this one has to do with basically the Super Mario Brothers movie and some new information or certain news that came up about it, though. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at some interesting information that has come out in the upcoming Super Mario Brothers movie, though. Now, I believe it was either last month, and correct me if I'm wrong though, the first trailer for the upcoming Super Mario Brothers movie was shown. The trailer showed us several things ranging from Bowser to folks like Magic Koopa to the Koopa Troopas, the Penguins, to even Toad, to even us first look at Luigi and Mario though. And I will say my impression on that trailer has not changed. Visually, I think they did a good job staying as close to the source material as they possibly can. I can nitpick at a couple of things here and there. Mario's mustache is one example though. But overall, I would say I was impressed with what I saw though. The big controversy seems to be Chris Pratt voicing Mario. And while I will admit that Chris Pratt is not my first pick to voice Mario or anything like that, I'm not as bothered by it as most on the internet have started to make it sound like it is though. Well, anyway, we have some interesting stuff that has come out, including the possibility of a second trailer, to even the John Leguizamo responding to the casting for the person to play as Mario, though. It's worth pointing out John Leguizamo starred in the 90s live-action Super Mario Brothers movie and played as Luigi, a movie that sort of has earned the reputation of being it's so bad it's good or anything like that. Anyway, in the first article from Game Rant, it reads that, quote, an upcoming trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie has been rated by the British Board of Film Classification, BBFC. This rating was announced on Friday, November 11th, and the trailer is said to have a runtime of about 1 minute, about 1 minute and 30 seconds though. I assume that's for the trailer. I don't know what the runtime for the final movie is going to be. Hopefully we'll hear that soon or anything like that. Although there is no confirmation as to when this trailer will be released, the rating suggests it might be sooner than fans thought, and it could drop in the next few weeks. The Super Mario Brothers movie is set to premiere on theaters on April 7th, 2023 though. In terms of if this rumor is true and another trailer does drop, they could drop it either like the upcoming Avatar Way of the Water movies to even maybe during the video game awards though, which I would say that probably would be a better pick. Maybe to drop it on there for people to see the trailer and all that stuff, but we'll have to wait and see if this trailer does materialize. Over at Screen Rant though, John Leguizamo has kind of responded to the decision of sort of having Chris Pratt voice as Mario, which has certainly divided some folks, to be exact though. From the article from Screen Rant though, it says, quote, in a recent interview with IndieWire, John Leguizamo reflected on his time making the original Super Mario Brothers movie adaptation. While looking towards the upcoming animated film, the former Luigi actor slammed the decision to go for a white actor in the turtle role, feeling it's being a step backward in POC, I assume people of color or something, again, apologize if I'm reading this wrong, represented for the film. This is what John Leguizamo had to say. Quote, I'm OG. A lot of people love the original. I did Comic-Con in New York and in Baltimore, and everyone was like, no, we love the old one, the original. They're not feeling the new one. I'm not bitter. It's unfortunate. The director, Annabelle Jackson, and Rocky Morton, if I'm saying the name correctly, fought really hard for me to be in the lead because I was a Latino man and the studio, didn't want me to be the lead. They fought really hard and it was such a breakthrough. For them to go backward and not cast another actor of color kind of sucks though. The article reads that, quote, Pratt's casting as Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Movie has come under fire for various reasons, ranging from the lack of an actual Italian American in the role to the lackluster performance heard in the recent released trailer. Profile for voice actor Tara Strong has spoken out against the casting, feeling that longtime Mario game voice actor Charles Martinet should have reprised the role for an animated film instead of Jurassic World star. On the flip side, Kara Payton, Khari, apologize I'm not saying the name correctly, who voiced the Penguin King, has spoken in defense of Pratt's work in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, indicated that the actor is bringing a soprano-style approach to the character instead of the voice audience has come to know and love, love. Whatever side of the argument audiences fall in regard to Pratt's work, many are sure to feel that John Leguizamo is ultimately right in the Super Mario Bros. Movie casting criticism. Even if Pratt's full work of the role doesn't prove to be as terrible as the trailer made it seem, casting a solely white actor in the part instead of someone with genuinely Italian roots creates a disappointing lack of exclusivity in the film's roster. Though Leguizamo may not have any Italian heritage of his own, he at least brought a sense of diversity to the character in the otherwise terrible Super Mario Bros. Movie, while the decision to cast Keegan-Michael Kay in the role of Toad showed the producers were open to the idea of an exclusive cast, but failed to properly capitalize on it. It also asked, will the Super Mario movie backlash hurt its box office? They say, quote, given the diverse division towards the film with less than a year remains, the question now becomes whether the Super Mario Bros. Movie will suffer at the box office due to the casting backlash. Unlike Sonic the Hedgehog before it, the animated Nintendo film doesn't have the benefit of completely redesigning its turtle character to better suit audience expectation, and with the weeks prior to seeing the release of John Wick Chapter 4, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, it will have a lot of competition to overcome to provide the game publisher that a new film was a good idea. Only time will tell, as the movie hits theater April 7th, 2023. So, as far as this controversy goes, though, again, despite John Leguizamo's response to it, though, it hasn't really changed my opinion on this, to be exact, though. Again, I agree, Chris Pratt is not my first pick or anything like that, though, but based on the snippets we've heard so far, I'm not as bothered by this and anything like that. I know, as some people are making it sound like it is, though, I just think it's okay. I mean, it's not as good as Jack Black, who's voicing Bowser, which I think he really hit the mark on that one. So I'm just not feeling it with this kind of situation at all. As for whether or not how big of a backlash this was caused, I'm not 100% sure this is going to cause a major backlash or anything like that. I just don't see them recasting the voice of Mario or anything like that, nor do I see this on the level as with the Sonic the Hedgehog, where we had the ugly Sonic, which looked, let's be honest, really, really bad, though, to the point that they had to delay the movie to give Sonic a more of a look that looks like something they see from the video games or anything like that. I just don't see that kind of scenario happening, though. And despite some on the internet who might make it as a big deal, I don't think it's going to be enough to scare people away, or basically scare or prevent parents from taking their children to see this movie. I just don't see that kind of scenario basically happening. I could be wrong, but I just don't think that's going to happen at all. But like I said, time will ultimately tell whether that does truly or truly not doesn't happen, though. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. But overall, hopefully the rumors are true about a new trailer. I would like to see if we see maybe Peach in it, or hear a little bit more of Chris Pratt's Mario voice. And while there are some arguments in what John Leguizamo is saying, not disappointed with them casting Chris Pratt to voice Mario. And I really seriously doubt this backlash is going to hurt the movie or anything like that. This movie feels more towards, older, yes, for those who've been longtime Nintendo fans, but mostly families and all. And I really don't see the backlash hurting this film or anything, at least as far as I am aware of. But time will ultimately tell, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part, and this one has to do with Embracer Group, and recently some interesting stuff that's been going on around them, including ranging from the developers of the Saints Row reboot to basically some other stuff, to be exact. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My Two Cent video. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Embracer Group, as it seems as though Embracer Group seems to be working on, say, a couple of things, or basically there's a lot of stuff been going on in the background of them. They've made some certain announcements ranging from a 6-year deal to their response to the Saints Row reboot to even a certain franchise might be making a comeback, though. The first one has to do with some of this is from GameSpot, though, points to Aggressive Groups reveals mysterious and transformative 6-year deal. According to them, they said, quote, the gaming conglomerate Embracer Group recently released its second quarter intern, and it revealed a transformative 6-year deal with multiple partners. However, it's not clear who these partners are and which deal will actually involve. According to the report, Embracer Group expects the whole or part of the 6-year transaction to close during the financial year. The partnership apparently covers a range of large budget upcoming games, and Embracer expects to improve predictability, lower business risk, and provide a positive impact on cash flow and profit, though. This appeared blockbuster deal is an array of good news and a report that featured few negative revelations, though. I'll get to that part in just a minute. The last section of the report mentions turbulent market conditions, and it suggests that Embracer may have to offload some of its many companies and studios into separate public trading companies under a Swedish tax policy called LEX-ASSE. While that's not exactly the most promising news in the world, they've also made pointed out some other things as well. One of the things they also mentioned is the fact that apparently we could be getting a Legacy of Kain games actually happening. This one from IGN, it reports that, quote, a new Legacy of Kain game is looking likely after Embracer Group received 100,000 response to its recent survey asking fans if they want more from the franchise. In its second quarter financial results, Embracer Group said it was overwhelmed with the numbers of response to the survey it released in October and responded plainly, we heard you loud and clearly. Phil Rogers, CEO of Embracer's 12 operative group that encompass Legacy of Kain creator Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Interactive, said, we want to gain a community perspective on what players are looking for should we revise the land of Nosgoth, if I'm saying the name correctly, though. And, of course, our iconic IP Legacy of Kain, though. He continues, in the past, we've found that the survey typically generates between 1,000 and 3,000 response, but when asked folks about a Legacy of Kain, we received over 100,000 response and 73,000 gamers complete its entry, though, entirely. We saw the news of our survey and shared across social and press platforms and really felt this was a great way to reunite this passionate fan community with this legendary PC console game series. Rest assured, we heard you loud and clearly, and we will continue to update you on the what-if possibility ahead of Legacy of Kain in the future. So apparently that certainly is good news, though. Now, what does that mean for Legacy of Kain? Well, there are several ways you could look at it. It could be a brand new entry into it, though, or we could see maybe some of the older games during, I think, the PS2, original PlayStation, Dreamcast era. Maybe those games will get maybe remastered in a way, maybe improve some of the controls here and there when the game originally came out. I mean, we've seen remasters of certain games before in the past. Some old THQ games that saw a remake and remaster, to even games like Turok Dinosaur Hunter got remastered to a certain extent. So maybe that will happen, and if so, maybe we could see some of these games come to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I certainly wouldn't mind seeing those games come to the Switch if it happens and all. And last but not least, on the negative side, it seems as though that the Saints Row reboot did not exactly get off to the best spot for a lot of folks, in a way that it seems as now Voltron, or the developers of basically the Saints Row series, seems to be now will be merging with Gearbox. In an article published by GameSpot, it reads, quote, Voltron, Volatin, if I'm saying it, I think that's the name. Apologize, I'm not saying the name correctly. The Illinois-based studio that recently launched a Saints Row reboot that garnished a mixed reaction from fans, is merging with Borderlands studio Gearbox. Embracer Group, which owns Volaton and Gearbox, announced that Volaton will transition to becoming part of Gearbox. This move comes after Saints Row reboot didn't exactly strike a chord critically, but management at Embracer Group said the game performed in line with expectations. What those expectations were, however, were not disclosed. Whatever the case, with Voltron joining Gearbox, Embracer sees a bright future with Volatin. Again, I apologize for not saying it correctly though. Volatin will transition to becoming part of Gearbox, which has all the tools, including an experienced management team in the US, to create future success at Volatin, Embracer says. Volatin shift to become part of Gearbox is the first time Embracer transferred one of its internal studios to another one, but Embracer says it's not necessarily the last. The CEO said during an earnings briefing that the critical reception to Saints Row did not meet expectations, leaving fan base partially polarized. The CEO said previously that Saints Row reboot would end up turning a profit, just not at the level a company might have wanted though. I'm confident we will make the money on the investment. Would it have been as great of a return investment than we have seen in other games? Not very likely, but we will make money, and that's a good starting point, he said. So yeah, it seems as though that the reboot did not exactly sit very well with a lot of folks. I've yet to play the reboot and all that, but yeah, it seems as though it's very unfortunate that this had to happen. It doesn't sound like people are being laid off or anything like that, but it does sound like though that the studio we once knew that did the Saints Row series isn't going to be around anymore and all that, and that's a bit unfortunate though. Maybe they should have done a Saints Row 5 rather than a Saints Row reboot. Maybe that should have been a possibility. Other claims is that the developers didn't respond very carefully to the fans. So, I mean, yes, it's true, developers can sometimes be jerks at times, but sometimes the fan base can go a bit overboard every now and then. So there's always that possibility. But either way, it doesn't look like we're going to be, it doesn't look like that it doesn't look like the studio is going to be no more. They'll be part of Gearbox, though. Hopefully, maybe we'll see another entry in the Saints Row series, though. Maybe the developers should set their expectations a little bit, not expect it to be, or Embracer Group should not expect this game to be on the level of, say, Grand Theft Auto, since I always felt like Saints Row was sort of a AA title, not a AAA title as some have made it, some had thought it might be and all. But hopefully these folks are going to get still have their jobs and all that stuff. So we'll have to see how this all plays out though. But overall, some interesting stuff from Embracer Group though. They released their supposedly 6-year deal that they are working with though. The fact that Legacy of Kain, it looks like that game's going to happen, which is certainly nice. We'll see if we get a remaster, a remake, or a new entry. And seeing what happened with the developers of the Saints Row reboot, it is unfortunate. So yeah, some mixed news with the Embracer Groups, both good and bad though. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about this situation with the EU Commission in regards of the statement with Activision, Microsoft, and all? Do you think that this was intent as a joke? Do you think it was a bad joke? Do you think that they could have worded it better? Do you think that the tweet sent the wrong message and all? What are your thoughts about the October 2022 NPD? Were you happy with what was shown there? Were you not? Were there games you were glad that made it on that list? Were there games you thought should have made it on this list? And is this the time to start talking about Switch 2 or so forth? What are your thoughts about this latest reveal about the Super Mario Bros. Movie, about the trailer, and still Chris Pratt voicing Mario, though? Do you think this second trailer will pop up, though? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think it will be shown at the VMA Awards, or maybe during another movie? And do you think people are taking Chris Pratt voicing Mario, maybe going a little bit overboard on it, though? And what are your thoughts about with Embracer Group? Are you happy to hear that Legacy of Kain's coming back though? Are you surprised to hear what's going on with the developers of Saints Row Reboot? Are you not surprised at all? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description. And I'll see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, wish you all a good day then. Bye.